Freedom Marchers, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world. This is Tyrus Bane, aka Snaps the Gorilla. So I wanted to hop on here real quick and kind of talk about what's going on with Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, or Ye. I want to talk about how they are being drugged and crucified and lynched in the media because of the truth. All right. Ye spoke some truths about the small hats, and Kyrie Irving posted an advertisement for a movie based on a book called From Hebrews to Negroes. Okay. All he did was post the advertisement on Twitter. He didn't say anything about it. He didn't say he agreed with anything in the movie. All he did was post it. And now he's suspended, right? First, he had to pay $500,000 to the Anti-Defamation League. Now he's suspended without pay, all right? Without pay. Now, this was the decision of Adam Silver. He is the commissioner of the NBA. And interestingly enough, he happens to be a small hat. All right? He happens to be a small hat. So that makes perfect sense, right? And this just proves what Kanye West was saying about how they have power in entertainment and all that other shit, and how they control that. They control the media. They control all that shit. It just proves that, right? This just goes a long way to prove it. And it's been their mission for a long time to underplay and undermine their own power, to downplay it, to make it seem as though they're perpetual victims and all this other shit. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to admire the level of power they were able to obtain. And I would go as far as to say they only were able to obtain that amount of power because, they consider themselves white. Okay? When Hitler did what he did, it wasn't because they were, not white. It was because they were not considered to be pure, what they call them things? Aryans. The blonde hair, blue eye type. Even though Hitler himself was a small hat. Hitler himself was a small hat. Take the exit. And that goes to show how far and how dangerous self-hate can be. In half a mile, self-hate can be very dangerous to your own people. When you hate, when you have so much self-hatred in your heart, you will allow and do things that you otherwise would not do. And that's what Hitler did. Hitler had this self-hatred thing going on, and he did what he did in Germany and in other countries. And whatever drove that hatred motivated him to do what he did. And because of this, right? Because of this, they have been given all sorts of reparations, right? They have been given all the reparations you could even think of. And it didn't take them long, right? Germany is still paying reparations to them. Unlike here in the United States, where black people, we just had to shut the fuck up, smile, and have a Coke. Go play basketball, go play football. And if you just so happen to be a black celebrity or a black millionaire or billionaire, you can't say shit because you're a billionaire, right? You can't speak on the plight of black people as a whole if you have some level of success or wealth as a black person. You're completely dismissed and all that type of shit. But A small hat, a wealthy, rich, powerful small hat, can speak on it. They're not told, well, look at all the millions and billions of dollars you have. Shut the fuck up. No, they're not told that. They're told, oh, we're sorry. Oh, okay, we'll do better. We'll do better, oh, powerful small hat. You see what I'm saying? Do you see the disparity? Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? When I tell people, and when I say everyone is suffering under this tyrannical system, if you're not part of the elite class, or if you're not part of the dominant society, if you're not part of the dominant culture, the dominant society in this country, then you are suffering under tyranny, whether you are comfortable with it or not. Tyranny is tyranny, whether you're comfortable with the tyranny or not. Whether you're a law and order person, and because there's law and order, because some a bunch of clowns got together in the House of Congress and Senate and decided to create these laws, and you, oh well, it's the law is law. That doesn't mean it's not tyrannical. Just because you accept it doesn't mean that it's not tyranny. Doesn't mean that it's not a form of slavery. You understand what I'm saying? Because even if you're comfortable with it, there are plenty of people out there that aren't comfortable with it and have every right to opt out and remove themselves and not participate and not be subjected to it. But hey, you're okay with being a subject of tyranny. So should everyone else, right? Well, people are starting to wake up, and they're starting to see, oh, that's dangerous. The car just fucking sitting there in a lane. Somebody gonna run in the back of that bitch. Anyway, people are starting to see it, right? People are starting to see it, and it's hard to not see, especially with this Kanye West and Kyrie Irving thing. They're starting to see who the real protected class is, who the real power is, who has the real power. See what I'm saying? But they're not even bothering to hide it anymore. They're not even bothering to hide it anymore. And that makes me a little wary, right? That makes me a little, it puts me on alert just a little bit. Because, I mean, it's always been this way, right? It's always been, if you said anything about a J, you were anti-Semitic, right? You were, you know what I'm saying? But then they started creating these laws. They started creating, in colleges, right? In colleges, you can't teach a certain thing about this, that, and the third. You can't say anything about a J or something like that. But trust and believe, they want to expand it. And they've been talking about this for years. They have been talking about and campaigning to create laws specifically to protect the J's from any mention, right? If you mention a J and you're not a J at all, it doesn't even matter what you're talking about, then you would get in trouble. You would get some sort of fine or something like that. Kind of like what they're doing in Canada for the Transformers, right? If you misgender a Transformer, then you can literally, that's literally against the law. You can literally get fined and all this type of bullshit. That's what they want for the small hats here in the United States. They also want the same thing for the Transformers here in the United States. And people are starting to see. People are starting to see it. It's a good thing. What's happening to Kyrie Irving and Ye is just what do you think? They're the fucking example, right? They're the heads on the pikes at the gates. You understand what I'm saying? If you come for us, we will destroy you. That is the message they're sending with Kyrie Irving and Kanye and Ye, because they don't want anyone getting in the way of their conquests, right? They don't want anyone getting in the way and bringing attention to them in that manner. And even people like Brandon Tatum and ABL are taking Kyrie Irving's side and they're taking Ye's side, because I mean it's that fucking obvious. When just a couple years ago, or not even that long ago, ABL and particularly would cape for the small hats. You know what I'm saying? And of course, people like Tim Pool. Tim Pool, of course, is on the side of the small hats, right? He is firmly on their side. Not that they're not. Okay, so I'm not talking about the small hats as a people group. I'm talking about the elite class small hats, right? The elite class small hats. They control the banking. They control entertainment. They control many, many layers and levels of shit going on in the world. They influence so much. The Israeli government is one of the reasons why there's so much destabilization in the Middle East. That's why it's as unstable as it is. But I just want people to see, no one will ever suffer through so much bullshit talking shit about black people, right? And someone can come out and say something even more devastating and even more disparaging about black people, and they'd get canceled to a degree. But trust me, no one is going as hard after anybody going, talking shit about black people as with the Jays. And I will say the same thing with white folks. Same thing with white folks. You can say anything you want about a white person, and you won't get canceled. You can say anything. You can say anything about white people. You can say that they're slave drivers. You can say whatever you want. Same thing with black people. But the difference is, it doesn't really hurt the white community, right? It doesn't hurt the white community. The white community is not affected by the stereotypes, by all the negative, disparaging remarks against them, right? While you might not get canceled for talking shit about a white person, no one is going to look at what that person says and say, hey, I'm going to think that. Like, it won't influence anybody's thought and anybody's perception about white people, right? But it's different for black folks, right? You can come out with movies and, all this other type of shit, movies, music videos. You can promote all that shit that paint black people in a negative light. And it will negatively affect the black community. It's not the same for white people, right? Because people understand not all white people are the same. Not all white people are the same. It's understood, like, you know what I'm saying? We know that not all white people are skinheads and belong to the KKK, right? We know not all white people are racist. We know that. But if you put it out there, oh, black people are drug dealers, we're gang members, we're this, that, we're that, then that is the perception that is strewn across the entire goddamn community damn near. And you have to do very exceptional things to stand out against that narrative. If you want to stand out against that narrative, the narrative that black people are thugs, black people are, you can't trust black people, they're lazy, they're this, or that, you have to go above and beyond to demonstrate that you are not that type of person, for them to look at you differently, for them to say, you know what, you're very articulate for a black man. Or they might not even say for a black man. They might say, oh, well, you're very articulate, and you're a hard worker, and it comes across as like, damn, I didn't know you guys could be like this. Trust me, I have experienced this myself firsthand. I have experienced, like I was saying, I've experienced it where a white number of times had a certain perception of black people when they met me, but after they got to know me, and particularly at work, on the job, right? They had a specific perception, and then once they finally realized, oh, this guy's pretty sharp, it's kind of like, excuse me, it changes their demeanor changes, the way they act towards me changes, the way they talk to me changes, and it's me. You know what I'm saying? I've even had one of them tell me, when I, at my very first job as a union electrician, I was an apprentice, and I had a foreman. He was a white foreman. He was a Mormon. He was literally a Mormon. A white dude, tall. You know what I'm saying? He treated me a certain way when I got there, but I'm pretty sharp. You know what I'm saying? So I pick up things easily, and I know how to get things done. I know how to get things done right. I was even outworking my journeyman, who had been in the trade for like 6 years. He was a fresh journeyman, but he had been in the trade much longer than I had. But I was outperforming him in the task that we were given, and my shit was done correctly, right? Of course, I would make mistakes here and there, but and then after a few months, my white foreman was comfortable enough to tell me that he was basically afraid of me when he met me, right? Because all he saw was the big black dude just, mobbing through the job site, with a particular walk, you know what I'm saying? And everything that he saw in Boys in the Hood came to his mind, all this type of shit. But after a while, he saw that, you know what I'm saying? He saw it differently. Hey, I wasn't really mad. I wasn't surprised, right? I wasn't surprised at all. That's how it is. But no one meets a white person, right? From my experience, right? No one sees a white person they never met before, that they have to interact with on a daily basis. Their first thought wasn't, oh man, he must be part of the KKK. He must be a skinhead. He must be a black man curve stomper motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He must curve stomp black people on a daily basis. Like, that's not something you think, right? That's not something I would think about. Or even a Hispanic. I wouldn't automatically think, oh, that motherfucker's a cholo. Oh, that motherfucker's that motherfucker just came across the border yesterday. That's not something that, it's not something that you think. Well, maybe for Hispanics, maybe just a little bit. It might be that you think that when you see a Hispanic, particularly if they don't speak English, you might think, well, are they illegal? Are they, here on a visa? Blah blah blah. But you're not thinking, automatically, he's part of the cartel. This motherfucker a thug. This motherfucker still catalytic converters. You know what I'm saying? But for whatever reason, that's what is placed on black people. Oh, he's a thug, this, that, and the third. We have to demonstrate on a level that no one else has to demonstrate that we are exceptional, that we are an exception to the stereotype, which it shouldn't have to be that way. We should just be looked at as human beings. You know what I'm saying? But I tried to tell you guys, man, black people, we have it the worst. We have it the worst. Yep. Under this oppressive system, black people got it the worst. Yeah, people will tell you different. Oh, there's no such thing as white privilege. There's no such thing as systemic racism and all that, blah, 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 blah. We know damn well it is. We know damn well it is. But they're not even in denial. They're just lying. People, they're lying to pander. They're pandercrats. When you know a pandercrat when you see them. When they make blanket statements when they make blanket specific statements that apply to everything, you know that they're fucking pandering. And let me explain what I mean by that. When they say there's no such thing as systemic racism whatsoever ever in the world, you know they're fucking lying. You know they're lying. There's no such thing as white privilege at all, period. You know that's a fucking lie. You know it's a lie. Because there's a such thing as black privilege. On a micro scale, on a smaller scale, because black people, we're not the dominant culture, we're not the dominant society. But if we own the restaurant, we might hire a bunch of black people. We might hire all black staff. That would be a form of black privilege. You know what I'm saying? But let me tell you something. Black people are the most inclusive group in the world. You understand? I gotta turn this light off. It's too damn dark. And it's giving me, I can't see past. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Black people are the most inclusive group in the world. Prove me wrong. Every black restaurant I've been to, they've had a mixed staff. Every single one. Very inclusive. And we're always trying to bring other groups on board. Right? We're always trying to align ourselves with other people groups. We can't even align with ourselves, but we try to align with other groups. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be able to get together with other groups and, help fight for a better cause, a common cause, which we all have. We all have a common cause against this tyrannical system. But, if we are in disarray, if our own group are in disarray, how can we come together with other groups? You know what I'm saying? If we're divided amongst ourselves, why are we trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they good. They, you know what I'm saying? They are on code, as they say. They're on code. We're not on code. They're on code to the point where, yeah, they can rock with other people groups and fight for a common cause and come out on it on the other end in better shape. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, we're not gonna come out it. We're gonna be in disarray when the shit's over with. Once we gain our freedom, we're gonna be in disarray. But every other group, they're gonna be on code. They're gonna be all right. No, we need to get our shit together. Anyway, man. Pretty wild, man. Pretty wild, the message they're sending with Kanye West and Kyrie Irving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit is crazy, son. Anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe. I got to get out of here. And leave a comment in the comment section. Peace. Peace out, Shay Pierre. Jay with open eyes.